Welcome back, everybody. We're going to get straight back into it and back to our VS Code editor. Now, the Fluxedita landing page package also comes with a Show More button, which we have a very useful guide for down here. Now, this is a really useful feature, especially for landing pages, as you may have considerable sections in your page. In fact, unlimited sections, you could say. However, there comes a point where the page load times will be affected. Now, with an nextjs application, this is already very well configured. However, there is a point where the size of your landing page, the length of your landing page, and the number of sections it contains will affect for the page load times. There's no getting around it, especially if you have video and image content, etc. Now, we have this Show More button here in our guides. And this is a very useful feature of the Fluxedita landing page package. Now, this is a very useful guide. It will take you through in great detail how the button works. But ultimately, what we're saying is we can adjust this figure here. Not here, this is the guide. I'll show you where this is located in a second. But we can adjust this figure to any number. And ultimately, when we reach that number, as we're scrolling down the page, the number of sections, as it's 30 there. Once we'd reached the 30th section, we'll see a Show More now. So if we had 50 sections in our landing page, each new section would require the user to click the Show More button. So how do we adjust this? I think this is very important. So if we go back up to our main app directory here, so our components are closed, our app directory is closed, we're going to open the app directory, and the root page is here in the app directory. And by adjusting this figure, we can adjust the number of sections that appear by default. Falls a Show More button appears. So again, if we just copy the first side of that to save you a great deal of trouble, Control-C, and then we go to our home page, which is inside our app directory here. If we open that up, you will see the root files below all the folders, the root files here. We're looking for the home page client here. And if we click into the homepage client, our trusty friend Control-F for find, and we can paste that in there. And you see immediately it's took us to the line 1125. You know, it saved a little bit of time. So we can change this now. Let's change this to 10. And now, once we've pushed these new changes to our GitHub, again, when our visitors view our landing page, and they're at the bottom of the page, if we had more than 10 sections, when they get to the 10th section, they will see a button similar to the read more, only when they click it this time, the next section would open up and so on. And this will prevent any delays in your overall page load time. What does this mean? This means that your most important section should always be at the top. They should always be visible. So if, for example, we had it set to 10 and once we've uploaded these changes, we would like to think that our most important sections, and it is these sections that you can add to your page links up here. Once your customers get to the bottom of the page, you might have further content, further reading, more media content, etc. They can access these with the Show More button, and all links from that point forward would be dynamic and contained within the sections. Links that appear below the Show More button must have links within the page. They will not appear in the page links dropdown. Now, I made a couple of small errors. I noticed when I click contact that it's taking us to hash contact, but actually our contact form was hash contact-us. It's quite useful. I did make that error because I can simply show you how easy these things are to fix. I was a little distracted by talking. So again, we're inside app. Let's close that. Header and footer is inside components. I'm going to go back to my footer and I'm going to search for contact. And there we go, straight away. You can see I missed out the dash. Is part of the correct page slug, so I'm going to save that. But I do know I placed a link in here, so I will just, in the header, sorry, so I'll just double check that as well. That one is correct, thankfully. There's no forward slash, but I will put that in. Excellent. And I believe that was the only mistake I made there. So I've saved that, and again, all these changes will push together anyway. So, what's more important here is how to amend any simple mistakes. If we look at our social media links in the footer now, so our keywords here is our one-page media store. It'll bring us to those links, you see, without having to search for them. Let's come back to our editor. Let's search for that in there. Oh, get rid of the spaces would help. I'm in the header. I do apologize once again. It's nice to see these things. Our one-page store. So there's our Instagram link there. There's our Twitter link there, and there's our email link there. Now you'll notice, based on our edit replace earlier, this one's already been filled in. However, you can put your own Twitter link here, and your Instagram link there, and once again change these as we mentioned earlier. So we will save those changes once again. Okay, let's close all of our files here and close these directories. And we're not going to push any changes just yet. I just want to quickly give you an overview of the actual root directory here. You'll see we have a variety of guides here. Everything from Git uploads, installation guides, indeed everything and anything that you might. These are very useful guides for developers and people that just want to understand how the application works alike. We also have this custom code guide here. That's the next thing I would like to show you. Now, basically, what this refers to is if we come back to our application, I will sign myself in again. Excellent. The nicest thing about the custom code application is the biggest failure of any web application sometimes is incompatibility. So what is it that the website can do rather than what it can do? So Fluxedita has brought a very, very intuitive graphical user interface into creating and developing your website, making it so easy. What you see is what you get, as it were. But what if you wanted to put something in that isn't necessarily already available or in our page control sidebar section of links here? So what Fluxedita has is a custom code section here. So if I insert a custom code section, ignore the error. Essentially, it's just telling you don't have anything in there yet. If I go back into edit mode to the bottom of our page, this is our custom code section. Okay, so what can we do with that section? Well, technically, you can do absolutely anything with the section as long as it's wrapped in a JSX wrapper, as it's explaining to you here. And we have all sorts of examples. So you might want to have a paragraph in there that's styled totally different to anything that's available inside the page control sidebar editable sections. All very useful. So everything from images, text, paragraphs, responsive image with styling, very, very useful. Let's give an example here. So we needed to be wrapped in this JFX wrapper, and here is a simple example. I copy this. Now I'm copying this just to give us as an illustration. However, you can write anything you like as long as it's within the parameters that the custom code section container requires in order to be able to read it. So I'm just going to copy this one here that said it has given us as an example. And if I come over here, and if we simply click into the box there, paste our code, click on Save Changes. Excellent. And you can see we've got full alignment, all div container controls. We can do whatever we like with the code in there, as long as it's wrapped correctly. And there we go. We have our video directed from YouTube. Excellent. And what this gives is absolute flexibility. So there is nothing, no section technically, that you cannot add to the Fluxedita packages, as long as you know how to wrap the code appropriately. I'll give us a little, our familiar divider there, just to tidy things up. I don't like things looking messy. Who would? Change that to 1. Okay, and we'll click save on that. Excellent. So with the custom code section in Fluxedita, you essentially have absolutely any section you require. If you wanted to import a section that someone else has written, as long as it's wrapped in the JSX wrapper, you can actually insert it here and create any section that you like. Now let's just refamiliarize ourselves with the way we create links here so we can connect up one of our policy documents here. So we need to add an editable page title. We're going to call this one, I'm just going to call it policies in this situation. We need to go into edit mode. Policies. And I'm going to center that. And I'm going to save that, remember, after giving it its correct name. And I'm just simply going to move up above our policies. There we go. So when above our policies there, I will remove that. And click save. Excellent. Now we will have a positive link that will link to the policies on our page. I must put a divider in there of some description. This might be a classic case of not adjusting the divides to 25%, because we can almost create a page break, can't we? So if I just take that one back up to the top there, above the policies heading, should I say it? We're looking at the one with 100%, remember. Then I know I'm taking the right, nope. Last but not least there. And I'm actually going to leave that just like that for now, because it will almost create a break. And I could make this thicker if I like, as you saw. So basically, that's why we will leave that. So now, we haven't refreshed the page. Let's refresh the page again, Control-Shift. And now the footers disappeared as I deleted it. It was just above the policies. We didn't need that anymore. Now the new policies link takes us down to the policies, as you see just there. And this also gives us our link here. We just copy that up to the /, quick link it back to our code editor. And we want to be in our footer page. So we're back up to components, down to our footer, and we're looking for our policies. I'm sure just the word policy there will help us dramatically. There we go. So all of these now, so I'm going to give them all the same link. In my case, in your case, each one could be separate, of course. So now all of my links in the footer here, once we push our changes to get up, these will all link here. And hypothetically, they could be way down the page. Any section of the page. Now, I'd just like to add a couple of bar sections really quickly. Let's go down to our product package right, product package left. And if I come into edit mode just to save that. Excellent. And then what we have here now. So what do we have here? I've created a product right and a product left placeholder. So I'm just going to quickly run through these, essentially just to give our page something else to look at. We'll call this one product one. And we'll leave as it is. Now here we can either put a URL in for the video or an image, or we can access our media library once again. I'll give us our shoe, why not? And then we can also give it an alternative description for the mouse over. We can create a button. So we're going to call it View My Shoe. View My Shoe. And the link, we don't have a shoe link, let's create products, because we want to create a products link, don't we? We do. So let's save that one. And the next one, let's keep same paddings. Did I choose one? Forgive me. Yes, I did. One. We like things to be consistent, even though they're not all identical. Product 2, as you will see. And again, we can put Tailwind class colors in here. I'm going to take them out so it will stay with the house style. I'm also going to say this one is most popular, as you can see there. You can put batteries on them. And let's give this something. What's more popular than a shoe? Donuts. And we will then say view our donuts, and that's going to take us to products once again. Excellent. So we've created 2 product placement cards, both with internal links and both with media. Let's just have a look at how they look. So there's our shoe. We didn't put a badge on the shoe. I'll just do that. Unfortunately, these things bother me if I don't do them. I want it to stick to our house style colors. And I want to put Oh, hot item. There we go, we'll save that. And we will come out there again. And I'm also going to copy one of my dividers. I think that's the nearest one. It is, and that's the style I would like. Going to drop that one down, so that's now in the center between them both. I'm going to duplicate that again and have another one at the bottom. UX is everything. If you don't do the simple things, then things just do not look right. So we can click on Build a Shoe, which will take us to the product section. We haven't created a link for that yet. If we clicked on View Demo, that will show us the item in the placeholder. Absolutely superb. And that could also be a video file as well, of course. Same with our donut. You'll see it'll take us to the same link. In this case, we haven't created that yet. And if we view the demo, it will show us in a full lightbox window. Absolutely superb. And let us just add one more section now. And that's going to be text with, what we on here? We're on the right. Text with video. Right. Let's go with that one. Come back into edit mode. Save. I always like to say I hate losing work. So in these cards, we can actually put a YouTube video. Now at the end of the URL, in the YouTube video, you get the video ID. And that's all you need here. Absolutely beautiful. Let's take this just up to 1. Again, entirely whatever suits you. Our title and description, etc. would go in there. And I'm obviously going to duplicate iDivider again. And that to the bottom there. And we will save our changes again. Now then, let's have a look. Beautiful. So we can have our text, our description, our tagline. If we click on the link there, again will open in a lightbox that's fully functional. And we can also view a preview of it here too. Okay. So on a couple of occasions now, we've created these links to the products page, but we don't have a products section, but we don't have a products link here. So let's keep this one below our info card, below our policies, and we'll have it above products here. So we'll go to the bottom of the page. I may as well come back into page edit mode. I'm going to open our section, editable page title. Come into here. We know it comes to the bottom here. And we're going to call this one products. Center it, consistency, save. And now we need to move that just up just above the products there. Excellent, that's just where we want it. And we will save that. And now we have our products below our YouTube video there. Okay, so everything below products now should be visible when we click on Mail Products tab. Excellent. And you see how easy that is there. We haven't refreshed our page. So now we have our link to products in there. Plus, if we go back up to our top, we have our link in the main header nav bar, what we did earlier, updating the header to the product section as well, because we knew in advance we were going to call the link products. And you can see there now how easy it is to create a very media-rich, user-engaging landing page with just about every conceivable section you could think of. I mean, imagine the promotional things we could have going on here. There could be a video in the background, obviously with great text and description, and each of the supporting cards can link to other sections of the campaign. I mean, it's really, really unique, very, very user-friendly, really easy to use. We can have all of our policies as we've seen there, and these don't just have to be policies, they can be any documents. A custom section here that can actually have just about anything that you can conjure up in terms of page sections. As long as we can wrap it in the JSX wrapper, then our beautiful product sections here that obviously deserve a bit more time with formatting and alignment, etc. And we can also create external embedded video URLs and media. I mean, it's essentially unlimited. So let's pop back to our VS Code editor. Now we have our final pushes for this video. I'm going to save our footer there. You may want to make more changes in here. So all I would like to do now is push these changes back to our GitHub. So let's go to our GitHub installation guide, initialization guide here. And because we already have our Git repo, once again, we're just doing our updates, trying to avoid any spaces. Make sure you have a terminal window open, terminal, new terminal, which will give you this terminal here just to remind those that may have forgotten. We're entering Git status. It's telling us the files we've adjusted. We then thing at them all git space app space full stop enter. Now the next time it touches it, it will push the changes. So we will say commit those changes. Once again, this message should be more descriptive than I've given there. Otherwise, in the future, all of your changes would say push latest changes, and it's not very helpful. So we've got that file. Let's push our origin. And we will get our confirmation box and give the correct authorization there. Your files will be pushed to your GitHub repo. Let's go to our main browser window. We can look at that happening just now. There we go. We caught it just in time. And if we go over to our deployment here, we can actually click on redeploy there. And we can just simply say redeploy. Now that will force the deployment. Sometimes there's a conflict between the branch, the main, etc. So now we're deploying all the latest changes that we just pushed to our GitHub there. And our Basel is rebuilding and it will redeploy for us and we will be able to see our changes. Now while this deployment's doing, or we'll come back to that, I just did want to explain one last thing in here. So I'm going to clear my terminal window, Control-C, clear. And I'm going to close all my folders. So essentially I have no files open, and I've got no terminal commands rooming. So I can now essentially close this folder. We click on File, Close Folder. The reason I wanted to do that was just to explain, if I open the folder again, now we know mine was in the my downloads folder, and there is my package. Now I can select that package, Control-C, paste that package and create a copy, and give that a new name. And when I open that file, let's assume that I've just created a new one, and we'll open that. Essentially, everything inside here now is a complete duplicate of what you've just done. And it's based on the EMB here. However, if you have just created a copy, and this is indeed now a new project with a new name, the only thing you must do is create a new Supabase database for your new project. So you would simply remove the URL, remove the anon key, and remove the service role key, create another Supabase project, get these credentials, and put the new credentials in here. That will give this a whole new identity. When you run this application again, as you did with your first one, it will have a brand new Supabase entity and you will see no information and you will have to populate all the fields yourself. If you didn't change this, as soon as you run this application, it's going to be connecting to the same database and you create loads of conflicts. It doesn't really work, as you can probably imagine from what I've just said. However, the Cloudern area is irrelevant. That's just about the number of credits you're using. You can have more than one Cloudern account. You can have more than one Cloudern upload preset folder for different projects. But you can also use the same Cloudern account for as many projects as you like if the media in that project is still suitable. But ultimately, it means more traffic to that one Cloudern account from possibly multiple projects that you've got going on. So that might entail upgrading your Cloudern package, probably one of the cheapest things to do, but you can also create a separate Cloudern account too. So the most important thing is always have new Supabase credentials, only use new Cloudern credentials where it's essential, and then from that point forward you can do your editing, changing the email if it's necessary, go through the whole installation guide once again, and you'll have a brand new separate landing page package. And with Fluxedita, you can do that an infinite number of times. Okay, let's go back and see if our deployment's finished. It just drives home the value we have here with this package. I find it quite unbelievable, but I suppose all things when the new are great value. So, what did we do there? Sorry, I've come to my incognito window. Let's go have a look now. And are we finished? Yes, we are. So I will copy that to make sure we don't have any conflicts, as we have said many times before. I will go to Mozilla this time. You can see if we click on our page links here now to our contact to our policies, to our products, all working lovely. They should all have in exactly the same way we saw locally. Once again, this is all live. As you can see there now, I'm not logged in. So if I try to access any admin routes, such as admin, you'd either have to sign up or be redirected if you put a wrong URL in. Okay, I think that's as far as we need go in this particular video today. And already there now, in a very short space of time, we've actually got a very valid landing page that's offering a lot of interest depending on what your product could be. And you can see how easy it is to create a very user-engaging landing page. Please do like, subscribe, and share, and please tell all your friends about the Flux Editor package, as it is an exceptional value at the moment. For the basic landing page package at £99 with unlimited usage, depending on how many projects you work on. Even if you were only creating one package, it's exceptional value. I've seen sections for sale, premium marketplaces that are £99 or more just for a single section. You know, and all the sections in Flux Editor packages are editable. You've got your custom sections. Added to that, you can use it as many times as you like, over as many products as you like. It's just unbelievable value. So please do tell your family, friends, developers, colleagues, if that's anyone wanting to learn how to develop, it's an excellent foundation package for that as well. Thank you for watching.